But yeah.
Well, her horse is one.
Oh.
My brother had a cart.
So good crazy.
Yeah, it was really crazy, but very busy. We've been working a lot because we nanny, so we've been splitting shifts all week. So
Sure.
It's been a long week.
Sure.
Yeah. Let me just dump this on the bench.
Yeah, go ahead.
Get
Just be
going.
mindful of that dog right there.
She's gonna do training today because I pulled some of
This one's a little flatter. So I want to stand up like that. It won't be there on my own.
Sure. Yeah. Don't pull your shoulder next time.
Diesel.
Yeah, I don't know what she did with her shoulders, so she wants me to do this today.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
I'm at 50 right now.
Okay. What's his number been typically?
40, 45-ish.
Okay.
On walks.
Yeah. He getting a little better with the reactivity. So like you said, the whole then barking first.
Oh yeah. So, and he's still in that front clip.
Yeah. So
We bought a muzzle. It ended up being the wrong size.
Sure.
the gentle leader, is that gonna? Okay, the reason I didn't go buy is on the walks he was doing pretty good.
Okay.
Like even with the dog, like still controlling him.
Okay.
Then I'm like, I know you don't like to drop behind him, but you still probably go get it. But is it gonna keep him from pregnancy?
No. It doesn't close the mouth. So he can open his mouth and everything like normal. It's at the base of it. So he can open his mouth. And like, let's say he did lines and was snapping. If you pull straight up, that will close his mouth. But you have to pull it. And you have to pull it up.
So when you say at the base of it, is it closer to?
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay.
All the way back here.
Yeah, I meant to go get it yesterday.
So yeah, that was her question about that. And we're gonna swap out the muzzle. I think we're just gonna keep that on hand when we do decide to take him out. We tried to put it on him anyway.
Yeah, so that's why.
We want no part of it.
Yeah, so with the muzzle, because I think I said it in the consultation, I was like, start it right away. Because what happens is, one, let's say dog, he doesn't want anything on his face. Right? Like he's not meant to be muzzled. Right? He's not meant to have all this crap on him. He's meant to be free, right? So when you start to introduce things like puppies, when they're 2 months, when people try to walk them on a collar, they tend to buck around an alligator roll, right? Because they're not meant to have anything on the throat. So then people stop because they feel bad, and I'm like, well, the puppy's only going to get over it if you actually work them through it, right? He's walking, and you teach him like this is just a part of how life is. So same thing with that muzzle is you want to start counter conditioning. Ideally, if you get started right away, we'd already have good progress that you can move into socialization. But now the problem is going to be, let's say you get the muzzle on them, and I can force it. Like I can force train a muzzle. It's not ideal, but you got to think of it as you stress about having the muzzle on, and now there's a dog present, and then you're remoting them. Is you have a lot of stressors going on all at once. That's very overwhelming. If he's already kind of accustomed to the muzzle, at least you remove that, and it's really just dealing with the presence of the other dog.
So when you like just put it on in the house and just walk around the house and leave it on the house?
Yeah, but he's probably going to try to remove it though.
Yeah.
Right.
He was trying to.
Yeah. So that's where the counter conditioning comes into play. So what I would do is if when you walk him, like do the food stuff, like always do the food stuff. But then before the walk, I'll muzzle him, right? Go for our walk, and if he tries to fight it during the walk, he can only do one thing at a time. He's either going to fight the muzzle or he's going to walk with you. So I just keep moving. And I'm remoting every time he tries to fight the muzzle, and eventually he's going to give it up, but expecting he's going to scratch up his face. Okay? It's okay. You know, he heals up. And eventually he's like, all right, if I try to fight the muzzle, I get remoted. But if I put the muzzle on, I also get treats, right? So you're like balancing out both positive and negative. I mean, we get dogs where it's just like we have to muzzle up. There is no time for conditioning. It's just get her done. But then we use the remote and we force conditions, you know. But it doesn't eliminate the homework of creating a positive association. Okay, it's just kind of like, this is what we got. Okay? What size did you get?
Size 3.
Okay.
Because I measured him, and it was what a size 3 says.
What happened?
It would not fit at all.
From the sides?
It was just like so tight around him.
Oh, so his nose is like right to the...
Yeah, and it was like
couldn't
super
even-
tight around.
Couldn't even get it on.
Sure. Let's talk about this.
So I think he's like a size 5.
4, I think. we decided.
Maybe a 4.
Well,
Yeah, 5 is
4.
massive. 5 is
4.
for a great thing. I
I
have...
measured a 4.
Oh, okay.
I remeasured him. I came up with a 4. But they also tell you how many or what type of dog generally takes.
Yeah,
the
pitties are
size.
typically 3, but he's a softer pitty. Yeah.
I get
Up. The number?
50.
Sure, good. And relax. Good.
Don't. Oh.
So, like I was telling you, so on the walk, so we were passing a dog, even though he was like eyeing him. So I zapped him to, take concentration on it, like you said. And he kept looking, so I was feeding it. And then once the dog started barking, then he started like pulling across.
Sure, for sure.
But I kept turning it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in terms of reactivity, okay, welcome to real life. In terms of reactivity, the spectrum is human reactivity is usually the first thing that goes away. Okay, then it's calm dogs, then puppy type energy. Other reactive dogs, or just turning the corner and seeing the dog, is the end of spectrum because you can't plan for those things, right? So if a dog's being reactive to him, you want to think of it as like if you're walking on the street and someone just starts yelling at you, right, aggressively, you're going to perceive threat, right? Depending on your personality type, some people may confront and go like, who the hell are you yelling at, right? Other people just accept it and keep going. He's going, screw you, don't bark at me, right? So then he's going into conflict. So you're trying to teach them, yeah, they're throwing threat at you, but you have to ignore it, right? So like growing up, I was raised, if kids bully you, you don't just beat them up, like go tell an authority first. If it comes to it, you can defend yourself, right? So I treat dogs the same way. I'm like, I expect you not to be reactive to other reactive dogs, but if a dog just came up and was attacking my dog, I'd give them every opportunity to defend themselves, and I'd also give that dog test, okay, for running up on us off leash. That's their line of thinking. So you may have to go up high. You may be at 127. Last week we went to what, 122? Is that what you do good to?
Yeah.
Was it
I
here?
went up to 127. I told you, the mail lady.
Oh.
So I was walking well, my brother was walking through and I had Mack, and for some reason, he was not like male people. Like, does not like them. And he was barking.
In the house or out the house?
Out, on the walk.
Okay.
The mail lady just
That's
delivering
interesting.
mail. And he was barking and barking, and I just made him sit, and I was zapping him, and then we started walking. But I kept telling my brother like to leave it. He was just trying to pull my dog away. I'm like, no, stop.
No, yeah, what you want him to, in order for him to learn, like that was a good situation, okay, because the stimulus stayed, she got him to shut up and let it go, and the stimulus left afterwards. If you remove him, or the stimulus leaves before you control the situation, he thinks his behavior is what garnered that to happen, okay? So, with the human reactivity, or the reactivity towards the male lady, was in the yard.
We were on a walk.
You're on the walk. Okay, so you're on a walk. Male lady's out,
Yeah.
just being male lady, and he's lunging and barking.
Yeah.
Okay.
She stayed up on the stairs.
For
she
sure.
was scared.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then how high do you have to go to get him to cut the crap?
127.
Wow. Okay, so that's
And I
out
was
of the
still
ordinary.
zapping.
Okay, that is out of the ordinary. I don't want you to think like, oh my god, right? But typically, the dog shouldn't get that intense over. Yeah. That's why I asked in the house or out the house. Because in the house makes a lot of sense, right? Out the house. So maybe he's just learned or recognized her from coming into the home if you guys have the same male lady, or was it a different person?
No, we have different male person all the time.
Okay.
We don't have the same.
Okay. So unless he recognizes a uniform or something that's super out the ordinary, and it really shouldn't take 127. But the biggest variable here is that harness. Remember, harnesses intensify the behavior. Right?
What did he tell you last week about harnesses?
Yeah.
What did?
Yeah, for the same reason.
'Cause
Remember
you-
last week when we struggled with something
The
that we went to
big
122. Yeah.
Oh, the dog.
Remember?
Yes.
And I was like, and I said at that moment, it's possibly the harness is counteracting the e-collar,
So
right?
what did he suggest you?
A gentle leader or a prong collar. Yeah.
See, I'm scared of prong collar only because he pulls. I don't want it to like leave marks on him.
No, but the thing is, it's there. So think of the
There's no
prong
room
collar.
for a prong collar. He's got the
You would put it
e-collar?
above the e-collar.
Oh.
Yeah. So the prong is meant to be here. Okay. Because when you control the head, you control the body, right? So it's here, then it'd be e-collar, and then flat collar. That's how that would work. And I have videos on this that I can send you. So,
other dog had last night?
which dog?
The Jonathan dog.
Oh, yeah. Scotty. Yeah, he had it. He had the prong and he had the e-collar below it. Think of the prong as emergency or immediate control. You turn the corner, fuck dog. He blows up. You don't have time to do this. It's this, right? But since it's fitted here, if he lunges right away, you're going to have that contact. So the gentle leader gives you similar control because it's here. So the moment you pull that head up, it's going to move with it. It's for those kinds of scenarios, right? In a scenario like this where I'm 20 feet away from the dog, I can use the e-collar and be relaxed because I'm not in a hurry to make it happen, right? Let's say someone's dog charged off leash. Boom, I need that immediate control, right? Because with the harness, if you were to pick that up, well, last time he almost got out. He did get out. He did get out. But if
He
you
was trying to put him on the bed and stick that out.
with the harness, since it's here, let's say a dog ran up off leash and you pulled up, you'd have to pull up so much that you're lifting the front body up because he can still this. If you have the head, you're up here, and then he's trying to go down. Okay? Yeah. Trust me, I've been doing this a really long time.
He did. I was amazed at how Diesel reacted with the choke collar. Choke collar.
Yeah.
The what do you
Prong
collar.
Prong collar. I mean, he's generally not a bad dog, but he reacted really well.
Yeah, no, these tools, they're perfectly safe and effective to use if you know how to use them correctly. You don't want to put a prong on a dog and just let the dog pull you. So you're like, I'm concerned he's going to get punctures, right? In my career, I've never had a dog puncture themselves, and I've been working with dogs for 10 years.
Properly.
Correct. Now, if you tie your dog outside with a prong on, that's different. But I've even seen flat buckled collars tear into a dog's neck. Have you ever seen that on a tie out? The dog will pull so much it'll literally cut through their throat. Okay, so even a flat collar can do damage. There's another off-leash dog. Even a flat collar can do damage. Okay, so the prong just gives you that immediate control. It's more of an aversive. It really just comes down to physical strength. Okay, so like the gentle leader, I actually suggest a gentle leader because I know you would have immediate control of the mouth without the need for a lot of physical strength. Okay, prong collar would require a bit more physical strength, but it's more of an aversive. So you know what I'm saying? There's pros and cons to one, there's pros and cons to the other, and I'm trying to figure out what's going to work for your specific scenario. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this last week, but if I did, I'm just going to repeat it. We didn't have it yesterday, but we're going to have it next Saturday, the pack walks. You're more than welcome to join, they're free. But people come with other dogs like him, so like now you don't have to worry about the dog leaving. We have a controlled scenario. I'm there, we'll have another trainer there. The people there are training the same way you are, so they're kind of on the same, wavelength of like, oh yeah, do what you got to do to get your dog to cut the crap, blah, 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 blah. So support system. Maybe go for a walk. Okay?
So what time is
8 a.m.
Here?
We meet at Inner Lakeshore in Cannon, which is just off of, it's right here.
Like Lakeshore Drive.
It's like 5 minutes from here. Okay, so if you just go up to Diversity and make a right, it's the John Deere Ultra Mountain, and I post it on our Instagram and Facebook every week by Wednesday, Thursday, and try to post it up. And then I post by 7:30 in the morning if we're going to cancel, like the weather's going to rain or something like that. But it's going to be every Saturday unless I say otherwise. Other questions? All right, so what was the good stuff this week?
These are pretty good.
These walks are good.
He's getting better.
It's the reactivity you're struggling with.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reactivity.
The reactive moments that we saw were male lady.
And other dogs barking at him.
Okay, what about just other dogs in general?
The walking by, he stares, I zap him, and maybe once or twice, and then he looks away. Like, I don't have to.
What's your number?
50.
How frequently do you have to zap him? Give him a tap here? Yeah, that's fine. Would you say every time you pass a dog you have to do so, or is it like every now and then?
It's every now and then. Only if I see that he's like concentrating. He said like he can look and stuff, so if he's just like looking like slow, then I don't zap him. But if he's trying quickly or he's safe on the dog, then I zap him.
Okay. So that's good. So, what I would do is, so your resting number is 40 to 50, you said, right?
Yeah.
In that range. I'd probably put his number to 65, 75, just for obedience stuff. Okay.
What do you want it today?
Where are you at right now?
50?
Let's go 65. The reason why I say that is ideally we don't even see explosion, right? Like maybe a little bit tiny stuff, but ideally we don't see any explosion or escalation. That's what we're aiming for. Okay, is by raising the number just for obedient stuff, real simple, stupid stuff. It can make a dog more paranoid about what they're doing. Because the consequence is not higher for mundane things, right? So then he's like, you know what? Shit, I'm already getting blasted on 65 just for not sitting when we stop. I'm not even going to think about going to the next level. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, of course, if I need to escalate, then I escalate during the situation. But now our resting number is going to be at minimum 65 in order to see what that does. And if you're like, hey, Jesse, he had dogs barking at him and stuff, and he was great, then I go, great. Raising the number just for the other stuff to address that issue. Doesn't mean it won't ever happen, because nothing's going to be perfect. But at least you've addressed an even bigger chunk of it. And in the situations where you need to, you just jack it up 100 or whatever you get. Okay? Other questions? So have you done, you do all the training, you do all the work, correct?
90%.
Okay. 90% of it, okay. How comfortable do you feel like with the tool set that you have right now? Like, do you like the application of it, the use of it, turning it up, going down, things like that?
She doesn't mess with it. It's good. I like it.
I walk him with me.
Okay, so you
She
take
does all
Diesel
of
and
this.
she does that.
I took him yesterday.
I do all of it.
Yeah.
She took him for his first walk by herself yesterday.
How'd that go?
He was good.
Okay.
My
You
husband
seen
and I
dogs?
we went for a quick walk because it was 4th of July. They just
Yeah.
needed to get out. He was good. Did he see other dogs? No.
Okay.
There was nobody else.
How was it with the fireworks?
He was better than this one. He hears them and kind of runs over to me, but he's not he wasn't skittish.
He was skittish outside. We tried to let him outside real fast and then all of a sudden you hear bah, 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 and both of them ran under the patio table. So that's
Sure.
what my husband and I said. We just need to walk him.
Sure.
He's afraid.
Well, for
I
sure.
didn't
Not
see
to
him that bad.
not to the degree he is.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he's still afraid.
Oh, okay.
He's
I don't.
slobbering like a little baby.
I have a prescription from the vet. I usually give.
Sure, like
but,
a-
I did not give it yesterday. I wanted to see how he reacted to this.
It's usually like a sedative just so they sleep through it, which I'm not opposed to because my pet hates fireworks too. So just as an added note for next year, I'm on the same page with the just give them medication. But also going out prior, if your neighborhood, they usually start at 3 o'clock. 2 o'clock I run them out and I don't even take them out for the rest of the day. So my pit on Friday, the last time I took her out was 12 and then the fireworks started going off and she didn't hear poop until 6 o'clock the next morning. She literally will not go outside. She's like, screw you. And then Friday, or Saturday through yesterday, thankfully they didn't start till after 5, so I took her out at 5, she eat a group, and then she didn't go out after that until this morning. So they'll hold it. If there's something outside that they're not comfortable with, they'll hold it.
This one does. That one ended up being the house.
Yeah.
And now you can kennel them as well. I kennel my pit both nights.
I normally do. I have 2 dogs now, but I only have 1 crate.
Oh, sure.
The 2 of them are 1 crate with them.
Yeah, for sure.
And my house is in a little disarray right now with some construction, so I really didn't have anywhere to put the crate. I
Sure.
usually put it in my boiler room, cover it with a blanket, turn on the radio, shut the door, and it's good.
Sure.
But it's literally huge.
It's all right. For next year, right? We only have maybe hopefully a couple more days of fireworks stuff. So.
And the fireworks were being presented by my son in the alley, so they were right there.
Sure.
Right there. Okay.
Gotcha.
We can get started if you don't.
Is there anything in particular that you want to review or go over to make you
Me
kind of
personally?
Yeah.
No, just the stuff she says. I can handle them on the walk. This is very useful for me. Just the people and the dogs, just trying to get them to behave better with that.
Okay. Is there anybody else who's been reacted to that wasn't a male lady, male person?
I think it was just because she was another person, to be honest with you. I don't know if it necessarily was the male person.
It's always people though. Like we'll pass like random people on walks, he'll look at them, maybe like do a little bark, but not how he was for Haley.
Okay, well.
How when he does that, what are those people doing? Are they running like that?
Bark me.
Okay, and what else?
That's the only people we passed. Like one man was putting a sprinkler out to water his lawn, and he didn't so much react to him. He just kind of was staring at him. But people at the corner, they don't have grass. It's all plants in front of the house.
Oh yeah.
He was out with the kid. I think he was more so the kid.
Yeah.
He's not
We have to be
kids.
careful around little kids.
Okay. The 65 may address that stuff. Okay. If it doesn't address the reactivity toward like the dog barking stuff,
It's gonna not
I'm
be
gonna
worse.
say it's more likely gonna address that lower degree stuff. People gardening and messing with stuff in the yard kind of makes sense in the sense that it's just like the accident objects type of thing. The male lady is still kind of just for me off, or male person, unless he's learned to recognize the uniform, which can happen. So just keep an eye on that. Okay, and if anything, knowing this stuff, I go targeted. Like I go looking for like, oh, look, there's a person gardening. Let me walk in front of their house, right? To see like, are you making progress with the higher number? If you see like a UPS guy, FedEx guy, or whatever, like stepping aside, putting him here in the position to let them move around and see what he does. If he barks, did you say like he'll kind of look and maybe give a little bark? Definitely want to remote that.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Even when he looks.
Okay. Yes, all that stuff. Yeah, we're gonna be super black and white and even give more strict rules, so he doesn't even get to go to that degree. Okay. Anything else? No, that was it. Okay. So go ahead and show me what you know, so I can look at your handling skills, remote skills, walking skills, and then we'll see where we go.
Okay. Yep. I don't try to write that. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. So we do want to keep obedience, like everything wants to be consistent, right? As
He's been
possible.
doing good with placing the house too.
Good.
Heel.
Mom, write this down.
Right.
Just gonna untrain them and have more work for you. And did the walking get better? Remember you were struggling with like a little capacity stuff?
Yeah, he did it a few times, but I didn't get time to let that.
Okay.
But like sometimes I'll even like zap him and like he's back.
Like she always said.
Sorry.
Yeah, because it'll become this constant battle of this, tapping and jumping back. The turn redirects him. If anything, actually bumping it up, I'm hoping this week will resolve a lot. Good. Did you, what were you looking for default today?
Yeah.
Did you have a long line? Long?
I'm kind of hoping the tennis courts are going to be empty and...
Yeah, we need a leash. Did you check my car? I parked over by the
The long lead.
stop sign.
Oh, you should have told me.
Behind, oh, actually, I'm behind the red dumpster.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I took it back to the facility, but check the trunk and then the back seat and stuff. I might have one with me.
We do have one. She just forgot to tell me about it.
Sprained your shoulder, pulled your shoulder, forgot the long leash. It was 4th of July yesterday, so. Good. Do you know how to do stay? You want to show me your stay?
Stay.
What neighborhood you guys come from?
I live at Belmont and Oak Park.
Is that Northwest?
Yeah.
Break.
Good. Back into heel.
Right foot first. He's like so chillaxed when we bring him here. Like I wish he was like how he was on his walks at home.
Stay.
If you can, take some video.
When we walk him.
And then if you can email it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, anytime you see anything like that's just, it's not the same.
I mean, he's been doing good. It's just like when we, like I told you, like when we first take him for walks, he gets so excited. But he's getting good at like when we open the door, he'll wait until I walk.
What we can, because you guys get 2 Zoom sessions, right?
Yeah.
Is the stuff that's in the home, because I know there's stuff in the home that we wanted to address. We'll cover that, and then I'll go over how you can address that just intensity of wanting to go out and stuff. Because it's like a big picture. There's like a bunch of pieces that you're needing. And we should be able to cover that in the Zooms. You can set those up whenever. You don't have to wait a week or anything, because it's just a Zoom session. And then we'll see what happens. Good, try another stay.
Stay.
Why are you such a loud noise?
Break.
Good.
That might not be a good idea right now.
We got a little Frenchie coming over there.
Okay. Heel.
Oh yeah, we got one. Cool. Just watch this dog, see what they're doing.
That's exactly what I have at home. She didn't tell me to bring it.
Watch behind you.
Good.
Good. So what we'll do is we'll move. We'll go over there in that where we would typically have, or we'll go over here by that bench so you guys can sit over there. And we'll work in that little spot right there.
We're moving down there somewhere.
Yeah, we're gonna be right here. So where that bench is, but in front.
Heel. This bench right here.
Yeah.
So we have some open space right here in the tree we can work with. Okay, so what we're gonna do here. Do you care if that leash is dirty?
Ask her.
Do you care if
She's a
that
little
leash is dirty?
OCD.
Here, take his ugly foot.
See what I tell you. What did I say?
Which shoulder did you push? Pull.
My right one. I like don't know what happened. I was talking to my dad. I turned and let it go.
Oh wow. Sounds like whiplash. Maybe.
But it wasn't like fast or anything.
All right. Let's go. We're gonna clip this to his flat collar, and you're gonna keep the that black one on as well. So this one is a 2-person exercise. It's easier that way if you have someone to help you. So I'll be person. Actually, you swap. I'll give you the long leash. I'm gonna take the short. So what we're gonna teach today is the foundation for the recall, or the come when called. The long leash allows you to get a more realistic distance, but still be able to direct them. So if you went to a tennis court and just like started remoting him, chances are he'd probably run away from you. Okay. So we do this in the beginning. I do use tennis courts when you're far enough along to practice where it's no leash, but he's in close, so you're not worried about the dog running away. But in the beginning, you definitely want to have something on him. Okay. What are we at right now?
65.
We're just going to go down to 35 because we're teaching something new. So whenever we teach something new, we always lower our numbers. And then as we go along, we'll adjust them as needed. If you see any behavior stuff, will be your eyes. We'll be working here in case we see any off these dogs and stuff, so that we can bump it to correct them. Okay. So I'm gonna have you stand there and go back just like for a bit. You know, let that leash just go slack. Yep. That's good. Come a little bit forward. A little more forward. That's good. Right. What we're going to do here is when Mack starts moving towards you with your leash, what you're going to do is you're going to start backing up. And as you back up, you're going to start to pull in your leash like that. Okay? So here, just reeling it in as you move towards you.
Back up.
Right. So what you're going to end up doing, excuse me, is you're going to be remoting. And when you start to see Mack moving towards you, you stop promoting, and you're just going to reel in the leash as you move back. Okay? Once he gets to you, you can stop. Right? And it's a little confusing in the beginning, but once you get it, it's pretty easy. Okay? This guy's neat. When you're ready,
You want me to tap?
I'll tell you when.
He's
Okay?
all tangled.
You'll be okay.
Okay.
And tap, tap, and move back, tap, 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 back, tap, keep back, keep back, keep back, tap, keep back, tap, tap, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, tap, tap, good, reel in your leash, and pause right there, good, give a tap, and praise. Good. And break.
Break.
Okay, we're gonna repeat that.
Okay.
I'm gonna repeat that a few more times. So, don't worry about the leash, okay? With the tangling up and stuff, you want to just keep your movement back. Move forward. Good. Second. No, you're fine. Tap, 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 tap. Good. And wait right there. Stop. Tap. Tap. Good. Brace. short leash. Got a dog coming. Break. Break.
Break.
Coordination heavy.
Are we in your way from right here?
No, you're fine. Good. We'll do a few more times. Good.
He's so. Don't see that somebody.
Good.
You gotta drop.
Stop. Tap. Turn to face him. Backwards. Tap. Tap. Back. Tap. Tap. Good. Go ahead and stop. Tap. And praise. Good. We'll do 2 more. All right. So. Back, good. Stop. Turn to face him. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, back. Good, stop right there. And praise. Let's go ahead and bump it. You're at 35, right?
Yeah.
Let's go to 45. Break. Here, bud. Good. Tap, 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 back, tap, tap, back, back. There you go. There. Good. He's got attachment issues. He doesn't want to take a bag for Emily. So, what we're doing here is we're teaching Mack that remote now means to come to you. Okay, so for the last couple of weeks it's meant put his butt down, come to the left side, or is it the right side? Right side. Or stop reactivity. Right, so now we're teaching that there's another option for shutting off the pressure, and that's to come to you in this kind of context where he's 20, 30 feet away. Okay, so I'm not using any words right now because chances are if you said Mack come, he would run to you, right? But it's not giving you the opportunity to use the remote to get him to come to you. So we remove the word, and we're using solely the pressure itself to get him to recognize that. Okay, you know why we bumped it?
He wasn't reacting very well.
Right. And then he was passing you up to go towards you and or to go towards Emily. And, right. So we're gonna play with the number because there should be a more direct line. And when he did pass you, I had to turn to face him and then reverse. Okay? So you're always facing Mack but moving away from Mack. Okay? So he runs to you, he goes past, you turn to face him, tap, 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 now I'm moving this way. He comes here but then goes that way, turn to face him, but now I'm moving this way. Right? So always facing but moving away from is what you're doing here. So the reason for that is it's visual cue. So like let's say he's far and he can't hear you. If you tap him and he's 30 feet away, his instinct should be to find whoever he's with and then to go to them But then you'd also be doing this. That's the visual cue. You need to come to me, aside from the verbal cue. Okay, so it's kind of like if he can't hear you, he'll still know what to do. So that, even to this day, I do with my dogs. They've been off leash trained for like 8 years. 8 years now. If I tap them, you always see me moving back like this. Okay, as force of habit. Questions about that so far? We're gonna do a couple of more, and then we're gonna start layering in the word. Did you want to try it, or?
Yeah, I think you're okay with this one. Just see if you have
All right. Questions so far? So I'll tell you what to do. I'll move away. Once you start saying tap, you'll start tapping, moving backwards. Once you see Mack moving to you, you don't have to keep moving back. You can stop. Okay? Let him finish the rest of the way. If he comes off and lands away from you, do not walk to him. Make him finish it. Right? So if he lands here, I'd want to turn like this and move this way and remote him to get him to come to you. Right? So I'll give you instructions. Break. Come on, buddy. A little bit more forward. Good. We're going to pause for a second to get this guy. Tap, tap, tap. Now back. Now stop. Turn to face him. Back. Tap, 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 tap. Good. Stop. Back. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Good. Stop right there. Tap. 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 There. Good. You're at 45? Let's go to 50. What were we at earlier? When we were at 65 earlier, right? Let's go 55. Break. Okay, I'll try going out. Everybody. Good. Back tap. Tap. Good. Stop right there. Tap. Good. Let's go to 70. Break. Got it again. Better. Tap, 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 tap. Good job. Tap, tap, tap. Good. And raise. Good. We're going to do 2 more. Break. Break. Good. Tap, tap, good move. Tap, tap, good. Tap, tap, good. Better. You're 70?
Not 70.
35.
You're at 70?
We're at 85 now. Good. Tap. Good. Better. Good. Go ahead and relax. And just go in the heels, walk. And come this way. Good. Slow about.
Were you able to tell me about fast walking?
Oh, walk slower. You're a fast walker? Yeah. The reason for that is with all my fast walking clients, which is a lot of people, is they tend to forget about slowing down as is. Pretty quick. So when I make them to slow down, period, they're already in their head about having to walk slow, that it's easier for them to slow down for the stops and turns. It can potentially be also a part of the reactivity, because it's such a quick movement that it creates an intensity. So like earlier we worked with a client who has a pit, and the dog was kind of just like sluggish, and the moment the owner started jogging a little bit, the dog started wiggling and the tail started wagging. Just that little change, that it brought him into a more kind of active state, could be potentially why you're seeing the activity there. You've made good progress, but there's like a lot of pieces. I'm trying to figure out, well, what is it, the harness? Is it the rate of the speed that you're walking? Is it the proximity? You know, how high did you go? There's a lot of factors to play. Okay. Questions so far? So this was good. You did all those movements correctly. You're moving and you're passing, you turn the face and all that stuff. So all that stuff stays the same. So what we're going to do here is we'll go ahead and go down to 80. But that speed was much better and it was much more direct. Like he just straight shotted it to you as opposed to like stopping the sniff and all that stuff, right? And when I see this here, you also want to think like, it's not too distracting today. And you're at 80. Does that make sense? And on your walks, you know, you've been 50, 40, 50. Right? And I'm going, man, I'm like, if I'm already just 80 here, just for like stupid stuff like this, I'd imagine I'd be at those levels even on the walk. Does that make sense? So I know I said 65, but I just want you to keep that in mind, that feel free to just think for yourself. Like if you're out walking with them and you're like, you know what, I know just said 65, and I'm doing 65, but I feel like he needs more, pump it. You know, don't wait for me to, you don't have to wait for me to like clear it. Like I'm not gonna like lecture you. The only thing is the continuous, which we went over, but otherwise I'm like, yeah, it goes to 127. Why stop?
That's how with the male lady at the 127, I'm like, oh my god.
But he stopped, right?
Well, eventually, I just crossed the street.
Oh, but you increased that.
Yeah, I got scared with continuous, and
Yeah.
I kept zapping him.
For sure.
He was like staring at me and then looking at her.
I have a prong in my car this week that you can borrow.
Okay.
So you can start experimenting with that.
Okay.
Because it's, I think you need a little bit more just because he's...
I'm going to go buy the junk food too right after this. I meant to get it yesterday, but I couldn't find it now. Yeah, I didn't really dab. Sorry.
So, alright, so questions so far? Alright, we're going to do the same thing, but now you're going to go and start cueing the word count. With the recall, a lot of people do the name then the word Mack come. I don't care. It's whatever your preference is, and you might intermingle them. Like it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we do just use the word come. Everything stays the same, right? But now you're cueing it, and even if you see Mack moving towards you, I'm still going to have you remote at least a couple of times. Okay, always, and I'll explain that a little bit later. Okay, questions? Let's go and break. Come here, bud. Come here.
Oh, I have to say the word.
Okay. You're fine. Yeah. Good. Right. Very good. I forgot on that one too. I didn't. If you hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have noticed. Break. Good job. Good. Excellent. Do 4 more. Let's go and switch. I'll have you go that way. Yeah, so I'm leaving.
Come.
Good. Excellent. Break. 2 more.
Come.
Tap. Tap. Okay, good. And break. Tap. Tap. Good. Now, so just give him a pass and trade. As he gets it easy. Okay, we'll talk. Break. 2 more. Perfect. You have your phone? Leroy's mom texted us on Instagram. Could you respond to her and tell her that she's got daycare days still in her bundle? That we can do the daycare day?
Okay.
Come.
Good. Much better. We'll do 1 more. And then when you get the cue, don't forget to back up. At least 3 steps. We'll end up on Larrabee going back. Whenever you're ready.
Come.
Good. Excellent. And break. So keep your leash slack how you have it. Tap for the sit. Good, like that. Perfect. Good. And heel back forward this way. So stop. Very good. So what we're doing here is not realistic. This is just the foundation to get him to learn what the objective is. Okay. If we took this same exercise and let's say you're with your mom and stuff, same environment, you know, how do you think you can make it more realistic? Like, what would be the next step? Not the end goal, but the next step.
Where do you go?
Okay, that is a step, but that's further along. Okay. You could, but if you have a 30-foot leash, you can't go any further than 30 feet, technically. Like, when do you think you would use the come from the call command? Okay, he's running. Right. So what are we doing right now? Right. Okay.
To actually get him running around.
Yeah, right. And so, like, for instance, I'm just walking away with Mack, and then you call him. Big whoop. So the next thing would be I take Mack and I start running with Mack, and as I'm running with him, you then call him. Recreate him being in motion. Because typically, people will call their dog when they're chasing something, running towards something they shouldn't, or like running around playing, and they're ready to go. There's usually some kind of movement. It's usually away from the owner. So we want to recreate that so that it's more applicable. Okay, so if you're working with 2 people, or if it's you and someone else, that's one way you take this exercise and make it more realistic. Okay, And you can start with the person walking, and then you call them, or then you build it to now they're running with Mack, and then you call them. But it's usually hard in the beginning because he's going to think heel. He's going to want to stick to them, so they have to keep moving, and you have to keep calling and tapping until he eventually breaks away, and then he learns like, oh, okay, I don't stick to that person, I'm supposed to come back to mom. Okay? Questions about that? Does he have any prey drive? Like squirrels, rabbits, birds, geese?
Yeah, all the above.
Okay. So you
Only
can
see squirrels and bunnies, and I don't know.
So you can use that to your advantage. So if there's a park, here we can go down so that everybody can hear. We got like our own bubble here. So if let's say it's just you and you don't have anybody to help you, I go to the park. There's no dogs. Cool. Put the long leash on. Tell him break and let him be a dog. I find a tree with squirrels. What's that, Mack? And he goes, he's barking and jumping and having a grand old time, and I sneak away. I keep the leash, but I sneak away. And the longer you let him do that, the more disconnected he gets from you. Okay, he gets more engaged with that. So 2 minutes, go for it. And then when I'm ready, 80, whatever, Mack, come, boom, 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 get over here. Okay. So once I call him, he's here. He should not go back to the tree. He should stay with you. Right? So there's going to be some impulse control there. Because he's like, hey man, I just came from the tree, I don't really want to go back. That I might just pause for a few seconds, and see if the impulse or the distraction gets overwhelming for him, that he tries to go. Start remoting, I don't call him, I just start remoting, make him come back, and I wait again. And then maybe 30 seconds go by and I go, break, boom, he can go back to it again, because I gave him permission. So now I'm using something that he wants as both a distraction and a reward. Okay, so this way he doesn't think like, oh shit, like I can't ever chase squirrels. I'm like, yeah, you can. But when I call you, you better get your little butt over here. Okay? So the reason for getting Mack to come so close to you is it prevents him from prematurely leaving. So in the context of you call him off of a squirrel and he comes back, if he's really tight on the body, it means he's really focused, less inclined to want to go back before being released. Okay? So after each of these recalls, we've been saying break. Or I've been saying break, right? So I'm telling him, it's just like with everything. When you say stay, when you say heel, all that stuff, it's implied that he's continuing to do so until you're releasing him. So same thing for the recall. If I call him, he's here, his job is to stay with me until I release him and give him permission to go back to what he's doing, or I say heel and we move on to the next command. Questions? If you do this solo, you don't want to practice too much in one setting. So if you do 30 minutes and you're at the park and you call him 100 times, he won't want to leave your side. Because he's like, oh, we're just going to the park and it's no fun. I leave and mom just calls me right away. So I vary how many times I call him. So the first time, let's say you're there for 30 minutes and you only call him once at the very end. Okay, you give a lot of freedom at the very end. Now come, tap, boom, good boy, short leash on, heel. The next day I'm there for 30 minutes and I call him 5 times. The next time I call him 2 times. You're changing how many times you call him within that context, so he doesn't get so paranoid that he doesn't want to leave your side. Okay, so you're trying to balance it out. Recall is the one command that takes the longest to teach, because it requires you to get up, get in your car if you're not near a park, go somewhere, put your dog on a long leash, hopefully there's no dogs in your case, and then practice. Okay, so it takes the longest to go over. We do this phase for a bit, the long leash. Okay, so the phases are long leash dragging, no leash enclosed area, to no leash unenclosed area, because you have to work through all these things. Okay. Earlier I said when you call Mack, even if he comes to you, still tap him. Does anybody know why?
Just so he knows to stay straight.
Okay. So like let's say I'm Mack, you call me, I respond, and now you tap me. What do you think is going to happen? That's what you want to happen. But what might happen? Why?
Because you got zapped again, so he doesn't know it's special.
Correct. So what happens is you gave the command, he responded very quickly before you had the opportunity to tap him right when you said it, that he thinks, crap, wrong way. And it's going to push him away from you. So what we're trying to do here is every time you call him, you're trying to force the situation where you're going to tap him too late and you're going to confuse him. You're you're sending them running away from you, in which case you keep tapping and moving back until clarify, like, no, buddy, that tap did mean to come to me. So the tap will always mean to go to you, never to go away from you. Okay? So I don't care if it's like he's doing great and he's super fast and he's super spot on when you call him. Make sure that you always tap him. Okay? Because sooner or later it's going to happen. We're going to get confused, and then you have to clarify it. Okay? What's your number? Oh, see how quick 80 shut that down? Give a light pull up. Yep. And relax. Good. Very good. So, let me think here. Put that anytime. Here. Oh, any questions so far? What do we have till today? 1:15? Okay. Did you want to work with Big Baby?
You don't want to?
Okay. All right. So then, question about this. Okay. What I would suggest is you hold on to the half hour. Okay. Because this is one chunk of the exercise. There's more to it, but I don't want to tell you too much. Overwhelming. One thing I will note, okay, is you can't be his buddy and you can't be his an authority figure at the same time. Yes.
No,
Yeah.
just when you're working, you can't be nice.
Right. Think of it this way: if you're his buddy, percentage-wise, more often throughout the day than you are the authority, steps forward, steps back. Okay. So like there was something earlier when you took them, and right away you went to like kind of like playful mode. And I'm like, because when you need him to respect you as an authority, when these things happen, that's when he's going to start countering you. Okay, so I'm not saying to be a jerk to your dog. I'm not saying you can't ever pet your dog. I'm just saying when you do pet him, it's because he did something for you. I don't care that you praised him when he came to you because he did a good job, right? But I don't praise him or go into that state if he's not earned it. So like all you did was take the leash, and right when she took the leash, she like started doing stuff with them. And I was like, that kind of stuff. It wasn't earned. Does that make sense? Think about in the home how much you actually do that. Like let's say he's just sleeping on the couch. A lot of people just go up like, oh, you're so cute sleeping on the couch. Yeah, so he's seeing that and he's like, well, shit, like you guys like, coddle me and give me all this affection for no reason, right? So why should I have to listen to you? And you're going to be constantly counting yourself, okay? So what I would do is watch these things, be mindful of these things, and start to dial back, okay?
Dial back on the affection in the house?
Yes, for him. I don't care about him. I would do it for him too because he's so needy, but he's not reactive. This one is. So.
Such a cuddle bug. I don't know how that's gonna work.
So. I kick him off. I didn't tell him to come cuddle. Because you have to think about it this way. If he decides that he can just get up into your personal space, right? Like I don't just walk up to you, go in your personal space. If I did that, you'd be like, the hell's the matter with you, right? But for whatever reason, when dogs do it, whether or not we know them, people just go with it. And that's where a lot of issues begin. Okay, it's not just the bigger stuff, it's the little stuff that leads to the bigger stuff. Okay? Welcome to the hard part of dog training. So, we can talk about this more over the Zoom. But I want you now to be more aware of this stuff. Because I've seen it throughout the weeks, especially with this guy who's being needy and then you busted out the ball, right? And that makes him more needy, right? It's really about consequence. Stop being needy. And I just posted a video about a puppy on my YouTube where it was whining and barking in the crate. It was the first time I've ever met the puppy for like an hour, and I was like, all right, we're done. And I corrected him, and then he shut up for the rest of the day. I didn't continue to play with them because then that would just reinforce. If I whine, I'll get more activity. Okay? So, Just be aware of it, and you'll probably start to see like, holy crap, we do this a lot more than we think. And then think about it in conjunction to how much structure and discipline he gets. Right? So you're like, yeah, if I just walk him for an hour a day and I do place with him for an hour, that's 2 hours out of 24 hours. That's probably like 8% of the day is structure or authority, and the other 92% is yes. Okay? So, questions about that stuff? It's gonna be hard.
That's gonna be very hard.
Yes. But in his world, they don't do these things with each other. Like, they set very firm boundaries. Like, they'll lay with each other. But if one day maybe he decides, Diesel, I don't want you to lay next to me, he'll just bite Diesel. Back off. I don't feel like laying down today. Like, that's how they are. You know, and humans, we're not. Like, we're always like, yeah, of course, come cuddle me. You know, but it doesn't help them behaviorally. Okay? Yes. Yes. It's fine if you initiate it. Okay? But if you're initiating it 92% of the day, it's still you practicing more so affection, even though it's on your terms, than it is on discipline. Okay? Because people kind of look at it as discipline when I need it, but for the dog, it's counterintuitive. It's just like, shit, like, I cuddle you, and you know, I don't have to listen to everything 90% of the day. Why do I have to listen for this 10%? Okay? Anything else? Alright. So we'll cut it there. Save your half hour. Because if you're not going to use it for Diesel, you're going to want to use it for this game. Okay? Anything else?
We already have our 2.5 hours?
No, you have one.
You only need one.
Yeah, you have one. Okay. So you have one.